Okay, so think about this. We experience reality, and it feels, incredibly rich, detailed. But the sources we looked at this week, they suggest something kind of paradoxical,
Mm-hmm.
that this richness, this vibrancy, it exists because we're limited.
Right. Which sounds counterintuitive at first.
Totally. The radical idea here is that our senses being limited isn't some biological accident. It might actually be like an intentional design.
A feature, not a bug.
Exactly. To channel all your cognitive horsepower into one crucial thing, attention.
Yeah.
We're exploring this idea, maybe literally, that attention is all you need for existence as you experience it.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is how you see these ideas popping up across different fields. We'll sort of guide you through it in three main chunks.
Okay.
First, just the straight-up empirical evidence, how our senses are clearly, gated, limited.
Right.
Second, this unexpected link that's emerging between how our brains work, neuroscience, and the architecture of cutting-edge AI.
Oh, interesting.
And finally, we'll touch on the bigger picture, the sort of metaphysical why. What purpose could all this focused attention possibly serve on a, cosmic scale?
Okay, let's dive into the biology first then. Unpack that. Our senses are, they're highly specialized, aren't they? Not just universally powerful receivers.
Precisely. Take vision. Human vision. We're trichromatic.
3 cone types.
Yeah, just 3. And they give us a specific slice of the light spectrum, roughly 380 to 740 nanometers. It seems optimized for particular jobs.
Like spotting ripe fruit against green leaves or, noticing a predator maybe?
Exactly right. That optimization is the key word.
Yeah.
Because you compare us to, say, the mantis shrimp.
Oh, yeah, the famous example.
Right. It has 16 types of color receptors. 16.
16 versus 3. That's a lot more information.
You'd think so. But evolution seems to have done a cost-benefit analysis for us. It looked at our 3 cones and basically said, good enough.
Good enough for survival and reproduction, presumably.
Mm-hmm. No need to waste metabolic energy processing 13 extra channels of color if these 3 get the job done for finding food and avoiding danger. It's evolutionary calculus.
So it's not about seeing reality objectively.
Not according to this view. Think of Donald Hoffman's idea, the evolutionary argument against reality. Our perceptions aren't a window onto the objective truth, like with the underlying code of the universe. More like a desktop interface on a computer. You don't see the circuits and the binary code. You see simplified icons, a blue rectangle for a file, maybe.
Functional icons. Useful.
Exactly. Tuned for fitness payoffs, as Hoffman calls them. Usefulness for survival and reproduction, not objective accuracy. A tailored interface just for you.
Okay, that makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint, but then it gets even more interesting, right? Because the brain actively filters information even after it comes through the senses.
Yes. This is crucial. Sensory gating. The thalamus, deep in the brain, often gets called the gatekeeper or relay station.
So it's not just letting everything flood in.
Definitely not. It seems to be filtering out stuff deemed redundant or irrelevant before it even reaches the cortex for conscious processing.
Okay, give us an example.
The classic one is P50 suppression. It's an EEG measure. If you play 2 identical clicks, say 500 milliseconds apart, a healthy brain's electrical response to that second click is way, way smaller.
It just tunes it out.
Sort of. It's like the brain says, okay, heard that click, expecting another one just like it. Yep, there it is. No need to get excited.
It's anticipating and actively suppressing the expected familiar input.
So the brain isn't just passively receiving signals. It's constantly predicting and confirming or discarding.
Exactly. It's throwing away data it thinks is unnecessary noise to focus on what might be new or important.
But isn't there a risk there? If you're constantly filtering based on expectation, couldn't you miss something vital, something novel?
That's the trade-off, perhaps. But this principle of focusing, of prioritizing relevance, it turns out to be incredibly powerful computationally, too. Which brings us to AI.
The transformer architecture. The engine behind models like ChatGPT. What's revolutionary about transformers is they rely almost entirely on one mechanism. Self-attention.
Attention again?
Right. No complex recurrence or convolution like older models, primarily just attention. It uses something called queries, keys, and values Q, K, V.
How does that work, simply?
You can think of it like this. For every piece of input, like a word in a sentence, the query asks, how relevant am I to other pieces? It compares itself to the keys of all the other pieces. The value is the actual information of that piece.
Okay.
So the attention mechanism calculates scores based on query key similarity. High scores mean high relevance. It then weights the values based on these scores, essentially focusing on the most relevant information to build a coherent understanding, a relational picture, from otherwise unstructured data.
Wow. So it's actively constructing a representation by focusing on relevance,
Just like the brain seems to be doing with sensory gating and attention, it's a remarkable convergence. Biology and AI stumbling onto the same fundamental principle.
So my everyday reality isn't like a raw video feed. It's more like a constantly updated, highly curated highlight reel constructed based on what my system deems relevant.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Okay, let's pull back to the big picture then. We have biology limiting input, neuroscience showing active filtering and attention, AI thriving on attention mechanisms. What could this convergence possibly mean?
Well, the sources we looked into propose something pretty profound. That maybe this isn't just a biological or computational quirk. Maybe it's a universal principle.
Universal how?
The idea is that the universe, or reality itself, might actually require our focused attention. That our sensory limitations are imposed, perhaps top-down, for a purpose.
A purpose like?
To channel our consciousness. Think about various metaphysical frameworks. Idealism says consciousness is primary. Panpsychism suggests consciousness is fundamental and ubiquitous. Even simulation hypothesis implies a constructed reality.
They all kind of point towards experience or mind being fundamental, don't they?
They do seem to converge on that, yes. And in that context, our limitations aren't bugs. They're features designed to make our focused attention possible and potent. We get this narrow aperture so our consciousness isn't dissipated, it's concentrated.
Concentrated for what?
Well, here's the final, really provocative thought we wanted to leave you with to chew on. What if the focused attention of a conscious observer you isn't just perceiving reality?
What else would it be doing?
What if that very act of attending is what collapses the universe's infinite possibilities, its wave of potential, into the single finite actual reality you experience moment by moment?
So, my paying attention creates the world I see.
In a very real sense, according to this line of thinking, you're not just a passive audience member watching the cosmic movie. Your attention is the projector light, the very mechanism the cosmos uses, perhaps, to bring itself into manifest existence. The demand for your attention is the universe demanding its own being.